Here is a 2023 Toyota Prius XLE in Reservoir Blue. The XLE will get soft tech interior, so it's kind of a sweet spot. This is the 5th gen. We get a full refresh, 60% more horsepower, 16% more torque, shedding 3 seconds off of that 0 to 60. I'm Anthony from Hawkeye Rides, and it is an exciting twist that Toyota is doing for the Prius, starting off with a more wide, sleek fascia, bi-LED headlights and daytime runnings. This is standard on all trims with an active grille shutter on the lower. Gloss black elements are going to be between it, and I think that they did a good job. It's still futuristic, but it keeps the Japanese heritage, and it's not going fastback design. Even though this is a hatchback, it's keeping true to the Toyota heritage. 2 inches lower roof line with a lower center of gravity. 5.6 inches of clearance is standard on the LE. XLE and Limited bumps it up to 6 inches. So depending on what you're looking to go over for speed bumps, you should be fine in either case. 17-inch wheels is standard. XLE and Limited get these 19-inch wheels. Independent front strut suspension with the multi-link rear suspension. So it's not only a sporty design, but it's going to have a sporty drive. Underneath the hood houses a 2.0 liter inline 4-cylinder with a net horsepower at 194 when you have the front wheel drive, which is what I'm showcasing. 196 horsepower is the all-wheel drive paired with the eCVT transmission, achieving 52 mpgs for the city and 52 mpgs for the highway. So now you have the dynamics that the Prius has never had, because the all-wheel drive gets around 7 seconds 0 to 60, and you still get the best fuel economy from a hybrid. Gloss black elements is going to be on the side view mirror cap and between the windows, and the lower skirt proportions out more dynamic, giving a wider track for the rear. Even the brakes are larger at 12 inches in the front, 11 inches in the rear, and because of this, naturally it's going to look more dynamic with an 80s twist to the rear. Standard LED taillights, and I like to get the grille pattern. The smaller Toyota badging giving heritage to the brand. Gloss black elements even coming into the lower. I'm not expecting any outlets here. Easter eggs are going to be found throughout. So you're going to see Prius on the rear window, and on the front, Rebirth hybrid going into a power liftgate when you get into the Limited trim. XLE, just be regular. Cargo for the hatchback can go up to 23.8 cubic feet for the LE. For the Limited and the XLE, it's going to be 20.3. Underneath the floor, we'll have some storage with a fix-a-flat. Split fold the rear bench at a 40-60 split. If you're tall like me, you could do it in the back. Otherwise, you have to go to the back door, and that will increase cargo to the hatch with a wide opening. It sets up a little bit because the clearance is going to be the most when you get into the XLE or the Limited. Let's go inside, move it around so you can hear that exhaust note. Ten-way power seat adjustment for the driver. Heated front seats because this is the XLE. The Limited gets ventilated seats. Soft tech cloth will be standard with manual seat adjustment for both the driver and passenger. And headroom and leg room. Today we have another occupant, so you can really see the depth for both the driver and passenger. That's 6'3" and 6'1". The dash layout is going to be more sporty with an 8-inch infotainment screen that comes standard. Optional 12.3-inch for the XLE or the Limited trim. Wireless Apple CarPlay, wireless Android Auto, Sirius XM, AM, FM, streaming Bluetooth audio. Put it into reverse, and you got a reverse camera with the lines. They do not move. Going into a single climate control, which is standard. Dual starts on the Limited, and I like how it goes into a second tier, and then giving us a 7-inch driver information display that can go through an array of information for the driver for different settings, different messages, with a compass, audio sound system. Everything is displayed to make it easier for the driver with a soft tech heated 3-spoke steering wheel. Multi-function with adaptive cruise control, lane keep assist. The stocks going into USBs, 12 volt. Storage tray that has a hidden storage underneath. and the key fob for the new Prius. Gloss black elements are going to be found throughout. There is no pass-through, and the shifter gets the soft tech on top. QI wireless charger will be on the XLE in the Limited, and here is the EV only mode or your driver mode select, in which you have Eco, Normal, Sport, and Custom. What I like about the Custom, click into the settings and you can make this a little bit more sport derived because we do have an increase in power. It's going to be soft to touch, opens up. It's a long storage pocket with a couple of USB ports. The door panel integrates into the dashboard with that extra window to give more visibility, and I like how it goes inwards here, keeping a futuristic look. Soft to touch where it needs to be, one touch up and down for all the windows, and easier to clean up top with a smaller storage pocket with the beverage holder carved out. Auto dimming rear view mirror, which will be standard on the XLE. Optional digital rear view mirror on the XLE or Limited trim. Headroom for the back is going to be a little bit tight for anyone over 6 foot because this is a more fastback design because it's a low riding roof. Leg space behind me is not too bad. Storage only behind the passenger and a couple of USB ports in the lower. Armrest with cup holders. The door pocket is going to be smaller in the back, pretty much just a flask here, soft to touch where it needs to be, and easy to clean material. Sliding into the center, you have to be a little careful because these rails kind of push back a little bit, making it a little bit more tight. As you're seeing, you're going to be sharing feet space, and it's not completely flat. But in shoulder space, it's going to be tight because this kind of contours inwards. And then for headroom, it's going to be actually a little bit better sitting into the center than on the sides because of the way the roof is designed. 194 horsepower, which is 60% more power than the prior gen. Sport mode, here we go. It's still a Prius, so don't go crazy. But the 0 to 60 is at 7.2 seconds, which is 3 seconds quicker than the prior gen when you go to the all-wheel drive at 7 seconds and up to 196 horsepower. Increased torque by 16%. These numbers don't necessarily sound like a lot, but it really has changed the game for the Prius because now you can maneuver in and out and you're not worrying about near 10 seconds 0 to 60. It's a more hip-looking exterior style. Feels wider inside, the steering is light, it's precise, it goes where it needs to be. 50% more power to the rear wheel when you option the all-wheel drive. Let's check that turn radius. And the brakes are also increased, 12 inches in the front, 11 in the rear. Turn radius is pretty good, 2 lanes. Let's rock and roll. Now, even when you're flooring it everywhere you go, you may not get 52 mpgs, but you're still going to be getting in the 40s, which is something awesome because when you're considering everything that you're getting as a package, by LED headlights and daytime runnings, which is found in the Lexus line, that retro 80s vibe, but keeping it unique to the Japanese heritage. They didn't do like Honda and go fastback design like a European style vehicle, even though it still has that fastback look to it. With the lower center of gravity, the seat will sit lower. You don't really feel any of the imperfections with these upgraded wheels. So optioning the XLE, it's not only going to improve the seating because you're getting the soft tech power seat adjustment, but you will also get these upgraded wheels. When you go to the LE, you're going to save a few $1,000s, but I feel like the amenities that you get, QI wireless charger is standard. You can option a digital rear view mirror, which I would tick that box because the rear is a little bit, it has a lot more blind spots. It's going to take me to some pros and cons. Starting with the pros, you've already heard. So the negative, they still have a lot of hard materials found throughout the interior. When you're at a mid $30,000 price, you would like to start seeing a little bit more of that Lexus amenities inside because they're doing it on the exterior. The rear is also going to be a little bit more cramped, especially for headroom and legroom if you are anywhere over 6 foot tall, and that's derived because of the lower roof line. You feel like you're sitting lower, which can be something that people will not necessarily like, but you still have 6 inches of clearance when you're in the XLE or the Limited trim. The biggest positive though is it's an actual moving Prius. It's not a box on wheels anymore. So dynamically speaking, it's not going to beat a BMW, but it's going to be fast enough to get you to point A to point B, which is something that before would take forever. Some other cons is you have to have subscriptions in order to use the Hey Toyota. When it works, it's not gonna work right now. There is a lot more blind spots to the 5th gen, and the 24s are getting ready to debut, which there's not going to be any significant changes into it. Look at this performance. Now, going against rivals like Honda and Mazda, this is going to feel more athletic than Honda. Mazda can be either or depending on your engine trim, but for MPGs, this is going to be the best variant. And the only other con that I would really say is they're going the same route as Honda, where you have to go up the tier in order to get all the features for the vehicle, because you can't option certain things, but at least they still have the ability to option features in the vehicle. Let me know your thoughts in the comments, and if you're new to the channel, consider subscribing. Check out the next video, merchandise website, and Instagram. Leave a comment and a like, and I'd like to thank Stadium Toyota for giving us this 2023 Toyota Prius XLE for our car review.